What's up, everybody? It's Dakota, and today I'm going to be going over one of the sweet new Core 21 spoilers that we actually got Monday, and people are calling it Questing Beast 2.0. I'm going to go over it, and I'm going to give my thoughts and everything on it, just like I do every spoiler season. Elder Gargoth is a double green and 3, 6/6 with Vigilance, Reach, and Trample. And then whenever Elder Gargoth attacks or blocks, you choose one. You either create a 3/3 Green Beast token, you gain 3 life, or draw a card. Now, obviously, this is really powerful. Assuming that it's kind of in between where it doesn't make an immediate impact when it comes into play, but it's also not like you have technically wait till your next turn to get any effect from it. So in aggro matchups, when you play this card, obviously you can block, kill one of their things, gain 3 life. It is pretty good. Or even just making 3/3s to go off the board if your life total is high enough. And obviously, if you're ever drawing cards, I think with this card, when you're in an aggro matchup, instead of either gaining life or making 3/3s, you're probably way ahead of that game, and you're definitely winning that game, or at least you're at a very high percentage to win the game. Against control decks, this is where it kind of gets worse. I mean, drawing a card is always pretty good in those sort of matchups, and obviously you're hitting them for 6, which is really good. But with the very efficient removal that we have in white, that is another removal spell I kind of want to go over at some point later down the road. The black removal spells that we already had in the format, plus the new ones that we're getting from Core 21, and all those sort of things just kind of make this card less less enticing to play. I don't think it's staple, just from what we see here. Maybe mutating onto it is going to be a sweet thing where you trade reach, and you trade haste for reach on questing beasts and things like that. But for sure, if aggro decks become more popular and people want to play Embercleave and stuff like that, it's definitely going to be a lot harder for their creature to survive combat against this thing, and for you to either make a 3/3 to replace the 6/6 body, or to draw a card to replace the card that you're going to technically lose in that combat, or just gain 3 life to kind of buffer your life total. All those are going to be really good, and this card is definitely one that deters aggro decks, and when this comes into play, they can essentially just lose the game because of all the modes on this card. For control, it's probably not going to be that great. In mid range, it'll probably be a card that can take over the game and break mid range mirrors if that ever happens again, because everybody's usually just racing to some big thing, or just trying to end the game as fast as possible. Everyone's trying to end the game as fast as possible, but either someone's trying to do it through combat and Embercleave, or trying to do it with expansion explosion. Before it was agent and agent and Luca. Before, obviously, we had the standard bannings and things like that. But overall, I think this card is very playable for standard. I'm not gonna say slam dunk pre-order 4 copies or spend all your wild cards getting just 4 copies of this. Definitely, if there is a very good green mid-range deck or green ramp deck, which from Solemn Simulacrum getting reprinted, from the bevy of 4-mana ramp spells, Cultivate even getting a reprint, playing this card on turn 3 or turn 4 is definitely going to be very doable. And if your opponent can't remove it, and they're obviously an aggro deck, then chances are they're not going to attack, because if they attack into it, they're going to have to find a way to deal an immense amount of damage to negate either the 3/3, giving you a 3/3, or giving you 3 life. And then obviously on the backswing, they're going to be taking a potential of 6 plus another 3/3 token, or another 3 life, or maybe even a card too, depending on the situation of the game. And in mid range, which I hope comes back to being a thing once we get into probably rotation, where there's like Teferi and stuff like that, which this card just, Teferi Time Rattler just laughs at this card because it just gets bounced to, you basically get time walked. But in any other scenario besides like playing the control deck that's probably also playing the Teferi, this card's great. I'm not going to say pre-order it or anything like that, but definitely have it on your radar because I can see people wanting to build around and play with this card, or at least like any of the big like green strategies like wanting to play this card because it does snowball and gets out of control if it goes unanswered for a few turns. Even for one turn, like getting like 2 3 3s is pretty good. But that's my evaluation of Elder Gargoth. I'd probably rate it like decently high, definitely a bomb in limited formats. It's going to make an impact in standard, possibly maybe Pioneer if the format slows down and uh, Lotus Breach and Blue Back Inverter don't exist, and maybe there's some like green mid-range decks that pop up. I could definitely see this card coming into Pioneer, dodging Fatal Push and things like that. So definitely potential to be a multi-format like role player for sure. So just something to keep an eye out for. And thank you everybody for watching the video. If you made it to the end of the video, please consider subscribing to my Twitch channel, Crawdaddy23, same as the YouTube channel. Uh, I do a lot of non-magic stuff over there, but with some of the sweet new announcements that we have, like I think I'm going to be doing a lot more magic and stuff on the Twitch channel. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel for past streams that were previously streamed on my Twitch channel, and more magic stuff, more M21 spoilers, possible standard deck techs once things start to like settle down, and all that fun stuff. That way, it's not just decks that end up getting banned out of the format, and hopefully rotation happens because Teferi Time Rattler sucks. But that's gonna do it for me. Thank you everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next video.